Good afternoon everybody. We have started off live at the waterhole here at Elephant Pan, previously known as Hyena Pan, over in Botswana, with a lot of elephants. What a lovely way to start the show this afternoon. So my name is Kerry Dupree and I will be your naturalist presenter with you this afternoon. With us in our director team and MC, we have Mika and Marcel on tech. So yeah, it's been a lovely morning, chilly morning in southern Africa, in Johannesburg. Lots of rain around. I know Botswana looks like they should be experiencing some rainfall too. We are coming to the end of our rainy season here in southern Africa, so it's probably the last big rains we will be experiencing before our winter and dry season begins. So just a reminder, folks, that this is a live and interactive experience. You can watch us on our app, or if you're watching on our website, you can register to ask your questions. Let me know what you'd like to see today. Join in the chitter-chatter, send through those questions and comments. You can use the QR code on screen now. Just scan the code below. And if you're using Twitter or X, don't forget to use the hashtag. There's also a new feature. Viewers can also send through their questions and comments on WhatsApp as well. So yeah, join in the conversation today, folks. Let me know how your weekend was. If you have any special locations you would like to check out today. Or anything you'd like to contribute to the conversation. This is one of my favorite locations, Hyena Pan, or now Elephant Pan. We had always have some good elephant activity here. Nice elephant bulls coming down to have a nice afternoon, midday swim. If we're lucky, we'll keep our eyes peeled, see if we can find any hyena. There are often hyena that come down even during the day to this watering hole to have a drink. Oop! And look in the distance there, folks. It looks like we have maybe a few elephants having a pool party. Speaking of elephants having a pool party, just a bit of an update from some of our live locations. It looks like over in Sandringham, Taylor and Cedric have been having a lot of luck with elephants. Lots of elephants seen also pool partying over the weekend. Nothing better than an elephant pool party to keep you entertained for the weekend. Cedric's had quite a lot of good luck with some wild dogs. Lovely to see some wild dog spots all over the place. So Cedric did kick off the show this morning with a Nyala bull and managed to follow up on a sighting of the wild dogs. So he did find them. They were a bit relaxed. I think he was hoping they might go for a bit of a hunt, but they just decided to rest up under the trees. But nice to see some wild dogs over in Sandringham with Cedric. A bit of an update from Taylor. So Taylor had a very giraffe-filled morning, also lots of elephants. Seems like there's been lots of buffalo activity in Sandringham. Nice big buffalo herd, some vultures, and I see a lot of dragonflies. So this time of year, during the rains, lots of little dragonflies flying all over the place. Lots of dragonflies popping up. And apparently Taylor also had some southern ground hornbills and a really beautiful purple indigo bird this morning. Ralph in Mabula, Ralph and BK also have had some great luck with the rhinos. Lots of nice rhino activity. And little baby jackal. Seeing lots of jackal pictures from Mabula. The jackal population over in Mabula is very healthy. And they're very calm, very relaxed. You often see them just on the side of the road. They like to sleep up on the elephant dungs or rhino dung. Nice little comfortable pillow for them to sleep, get off the wet soil maybe. And so looks like we've been having a great weekend from all of our live locations. I know last week in Mabula they had lots of luck with the lions, so all the best this week over in Mabula. Hopefully they get some more lions, those wild dog and the cheetah. And well done to the team in Sandringham for also getting the wild dogs over the weekend. What a better way to spend a day than enjoying a wild dog weekend. Have a look at that elephant. There's some elephants in the water over there. We've got some viewers joining us today. Joanne Mello, thank you for joining today. And hope you join in the chitter chatter. We've got Ginlin. Happy late St. Patrick's Day, Ginlan. I hope everyone had a lovely St. Patty's Day on Friday and drank enough of your green beer. All the best. Wishing you all a belated Happy Patty's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. So Ari is also joining us. Good afternoon, Ari. Joining from the Netherlands. I hope that you had a lovely weekend, Ari, and I know you've got lots of questions waiting for me. So have a look at this elephant bull. What is he up to? So here in Botswana, this particular camp, Elephant Pan Lodge, is located just outside of the Moremi Private Game Reserve and Kwai Community Reserve. But in this area, there's lots of salt, lots of minerals and sodium in the soils here. And that's probably what this elephant bull is doing. He is using his foot to soften some soil. Then he sucks it up with his trunk and puts it into his mouth there. It's getting his daily salt intake. And I remember going to Hyena Pan. The salt is so prevalent in this soil here that when you have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea over an elephant pan, that it tastes as if someone's put a teaspoon of salt into your water. So all the water that you get from the camp, obviously it is filtered and processed, gone through some serious filtering processes before you drink it in the camps, but still, even though they try to desalinate the water, it still comes out very salty. So that can be something that will make elephants very thirsty as well. So if elephants and any animals feed too much on these salt licks or mineral rich soils, it does make them very thirsty, to make them want to come back to drink more water. Check out this guy. See how he's using his foot to help dig up the soil. Alrighty, why don't we head across to Oldonyo in Kenya and see what's happening over in one of our other locations.
Join me, Andrew Wistenholm, for an indescribable 6-night stay in the beautiful Albany of the Eastern Cape at Amakhala Game Reserve. Now, this trip is going to be action-packed with a lot of storytelling, adventure, as well as the opportunity to make everlasting memories. We'll be exploring the best of Amakhala by staying at 2 luxury lodges, which will be the perfect blend of comfort as well as wilderness. Book your spot today and let's get ready to explore the wild beauty of Amakhala.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
My full name is Maxine Gaines. Most people that know me really well call me Max. I'm a mum. I have 2 boys. One is 16 years old and one is 14 years old. I'm a very, very proud mama of my 2 boys. I've just always been passionate about leopards. I'm passionate about their conservation. I'm just passionate about everything to do with leopards. I love them.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
He's another big elephant bull that we had visiting this watering hole last week. There's been a female or lioness in the area that we have been praying. She comes down with her cubs to have a drink. It'd be lovely to see that female lioness coming down with her little ones to have a drink. So we had a question coming through. Let's have a look here. From Migs is asking about the lifespan of a giraffe. So the typical lifespan of a giraffe is about 20 to 25 years. Obviously a lot of these animals do live longer in captivity. There have been some giraffe specimens that have lived up to 30 years in captivity, but in the wild they generally tend to live for about 20 to 25 years of age. Oh, it looks like there's more than just one elephant bull there. Just resting up in the shade of these acacia trees. And speaking about these acacia trees, I know our secretary bird hasn't been seen for a couple of days. It would be nice to see our secretary bird. A pair that live in this area. It's perfect area for them, nice open grasslands, and yeah, perfect nesting trees. What a lovely sight this is. We've also had a flock of helmeted guinea fowl that have been lurking around this watering hole. Whenever there's a bit of a gap and there's no big herbivores or elephants around, they try and come in for a bit of a drink. So giraffe are some of the tallest land animals. Big male, like this male second to the right, can measure up to about 5 to 5.7 meters or 18 to 19 feet, which is an incredible height. They also have very long necks, as we can see above. Despite their long necks, giraffe have some of the same number of vertebrates as us humans. So they have 7 vertebrates, and each vertebrate can measure over 25 centimeters or 10 inches. So the same amount of vertebrates, they're just obviously much bigger than ours. So Mindy, this is a lovely sight, isn't it? So many giraffe all together. Sham, I know there's been a few female giraffe in the area that are in season. As you can see, this male, he is following all these young, very pretty ladies to see who's an estrus, who is ready for mating. And these females will kind of wait for the biggest and strongest of all the male giraffe before they decide to let a mate. Cover her, shall we say. He's persistently following her, but she will only allow a perfect mate to reproduce with her. It's all about the gene pool. A little bit of disturbance in our picture there, and my audio decided to go a bit wonky and wild, but we're still here watching these giraffe, just seeing these males persistently following the females. So we got some questions coming through. Gina Biddle, it is a lovely cloudy day over in Kenya. unlike the last 2 days in Johannesburg. So I'm currently in Johannesburg, and it's been rainy and miserable the last 2 days. Hope the rest of South Africa did have a lovely weekend. Thank goodness we managed to have a nice sunny Saturday in Gauteng, but Sunday and Monday has been a little bit rainy, a little bit miserable. Last week we had some crazy thunder and lightning. Mindy, I think I frightened your cat with the lightning that was striking in Johannesburg, so apologies to your darling little cat, Mindy. But looks like the sun is out. Looks like we're in for some nice weather for the rest of the week. Dark Main Lover, thank you for joining us, and it is an absolute pleasure to be with you today. Always lovely to see what's happening at the locations here on the Africam cameras. These giraffe are very curious. I love these giraffe. Look at their faces. They've got really comical little faces. This giraffe, look at this female looking at us. She's got long eyelashes, really like little models or little celebrities of the bush. Really cute creatures. A giraffe, along with zebra, are two of the most loved and herbivores in Africa. So when people, the algorithm, don't ask me how, I don't know how Google and all that works, but apparently Google told me that the most searched for herbivores in Africa are between a giraffe at number 1 and zebra at number 2. That's excluding your cats and your predators. This is just herbivores. So it's one of the most popular herbivores in Africa, the giraffe. And Gina Biddle, does hurt one's knees when you think of how much weight these giraffe have to carry around with them every day and bending over to have a good drink. You don't want to fall over or slip when you're in that compromising position. Went for a lovely hike on Saturday with the sunny weather we had, and I don't think I could bend like a giraffe right now. It'd probably be quite painful, but they definitely get their yoga in these giraffe. And I know we had some questions from some viewers last week about why don't some reserves put up modified water stations for giraffe. My opinion with these kind of questions is always that it's better to keep nature as natural as possible. Yes, I know in some reserves they do have feeding stations for giraffe, but that might just be because of species competition when it comes to feeding in certain areas. If you put down game pellets, it's a bit difficult for giraffe. I mean, they can bend down to feed off the ground, but when you have other herbivores like zebra, that can be quite aggressive. The giraffe sometimes end up losing out. So these modified feeding stations and reserves can be useful, but I don't think modified water sources are very necessary for giraffe unless it has an injury of some sort that it cannot bend down. Then these giraffe are so well adapted to bending down like this, getting their yoga, their good stretches in for the day, in order to get their fresh drink of water. So Rory is asking what my favorite province is in South Africa for game viewing. Oof, Rory, that's a bit of a difficult question because Limpopo province has some incredible, for me it would have to be between Limpopo and KZN, but I think at the end of the day Limpopo is going to have to win for me. There's probably the best game viewing in Limpopo province, just because of terrain and your habitat and the animals that occur there. I do love KZN. I spend a lot of time guiding in KZN up in the Drakensberg and closer to Swaziland. In Jozini, but it can be difficult for predators up that side. So Rory, I think my favorite province for game viewing is definitely going to have to be Limpopo province. But I'd love the viewers to send through your comments of what province is your favorite province for game viewing in South Africa. Send through those comments. I'd love to know where your favorite game viewing experiences have been in South Africa. Now I have a feeling it's going to be probably between Limpopo and Mpumalanga. That's where I think a lot of our viewers are going to say that the best game viewing in South Africa is Limpopo and Mpumalanga, but every other province in South Africa has something to offer. So even if it's not great for game viewing, you've still got the Eastern Cape, you've still got PE, all these different provinces that maybe not great for game viewing, but maybe have an ocean view to offer, turtle season, whale watching, hiking, landscapes. Most of South Africa is really great for cultural experience too. So for me, every province in South Africa is special and unique, always something to see. So for example, Drakensberg, I love to go spend time in the Drakensberg. You might not see as many animals, but the landscape is just incredible. And those Drakensberg mountains at the moment are glittered in a lovely green grass and flowers everywhere, so it's a beautiful view. I'm hoping that these elephant bulls will come down to the watering hole again at some stage. It would be nice to see them out in the open. They look like pretty big bulls. Having a look at the tusks on them there, look like quite massive elephant bulls. It's quite special how these giraffe, just like humans and our fingerprints, each and every single giraffe has unique spots and patterns that is unique to each and every different individual. Isn't that special? It's like every giraffe is specially made and it's unique in its own way. So these giraffe can run quite fast despite the large size. So big male giraffe like this guy on the right can run up to 55 to 60 kilometers an hour in very short bursts. So they can't run for very long distances, but in short bursts they can run up to 60 kilometers an hour, which is quite impressive for such a big land mammal, I will say. So Lady Macbeth has sent in her vote for which province is her favorite province in South Africa for game viewing. So Lady Macbeth has sent in KwaZulu-Natal, KZN. So yes, KZN, you get all those reserves, Mala Mala, trying to think of the reserves, Pinders and KwaZulu-Natal as far as I understand. So yeah, a lot of incredible game viewing in those reserves. And I know a lot of reserves in KwaZulu-Natal don't all have the big five, so I think that's where Mpumalanga and Limpopo might still win over KZN, is the big five. So to have the lions, I know a lot of the reserves there do have cheetah, wild dog, but not all of the reserves in KZN that I know of have lions. So, but yeah, obviously incredible game viewing experiences still available in KZN. And what's so special about KZN is you've got bush and you've got beach. So you've got beach not too far away from the bush. So if you want a combination of bush and beach safari, KZN, that is your province. That is definitely the province you want to head to.
South Africa's wild places are closer than you think, because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild. Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
quite a few opportunities, but something always fell through in the end. But I've driven past quite often, and I used to work on a reserve called White Elephant Private Game Reserve in the Josini area on Josini Dam, or Josini Port Dam. And yeah, Phinda was one of our neighboring reserves, so it wasn't too far away, but I know of a lot of incredible guides that work there, a lot of amazing sightings. It's a really special place in KwaZulu-Natal. So Ari, I agree with you there. It is so difficult to pick just one province in South Africa that could be your favorite, because each and every single province in South Africa does have something very special and unique to offer. What is this giraffe looking at? So Yanis commented about the Eastern Cape. So apparently the Eastern Cape is also a great province to experience bush and the beach. Yes, I agree with you there. It's also a lovely province. Cape Town is incredible. That fynbos, there's so much amazing bird life. The fynbos, all the protected reserves. I know there's Aquila, which is a game reserve just outside of Cape Town, where you can also go and see rhino. I think they do have elephants there, and during the winter I've seen pictures of Aquila and the elephants and rhino in the snow, which is something you do not see often, although I think we had a cold spell in November, December, where there was also snow in Clarence and in KwaZulu-Natal, and a lot of game reserves did also experience snow. It was crazy to imagine all these clients or these guests all going out in such cold weather that there was snow littering the roads and the trees, and it was incredible. It was crazy to see. Don't think I would like to be out on a game drive in the snow, though. It's a very much day to stay at home. But yeah, some incredible photos from Clarence. It was beautiful to see all the pictures of the snow during that last cold front in November, December last year. So Gina Biddle, I believe you and your sister are starting your research for going on safari. So don't forget that Wild Earth does have a travel forum, so we can book and travel some amazing experiences for you here in South Africa, also in Kenya, I believe in India as well. So you can go and check out the Wild Earth website, and I'll use a QR code on screen now to visit wildearth.travel in order to go and have a look what incredible adventures are available for you to join in on safari. That's actually, you get an opportunity to go to some of our live locations with the naturalists that you see on screen and have an adventure of a lifetime. So yeah, please check out our website, Gina, and I'm sure there is something suitable for you there on the website. So exciting, planning safaris or your next adventure. What are the possibilities? Where can you go? So many incredible places to see. And also the naturalists, some really awesome naturalists to join on your safari. So if you have a particular naturalist that is your favorite, I know there's a few different safaris with a few of our different naturalists. So Taylor, Cedric, Ben, as well as Steve. So if you want to join in our particular safari, I know Amy does tracking safaris too. So there is something for everyone on the website for Wild Earth travel. So just head across to that website and see what is the adventure that suits your fancy. I'm hoping our guinea fowl will come in, helmeted guinea fowl. Shame they don't get much of a chance to have a drink with all these other big herbivores around. This giraffe look very solemn, should we say. I'd love to be in the mind of a giraffe, kind of understand what they think, This male, I think he's just worried about chasing this female, and thinking about saving his species and reproduction. But sometimes you just wonder what these giraffe think. They seem to be very chilled, relaxed species. Not really in too much of a rush to get anywhere. Even though they're so big, it's surprising how slow they can walk from time to time. Definitely have tortoise mode engaged, these giraffe. So these giraffe do live in kind of loose groups. They form non-territorial herds, which are often changing, so that group members don't always stay the same. Yeah, they're kind of very nomadic, will move from one area to the other, join one group to the next. So they won't always remain in their prenatal group that they were born in. And the little baby giraffe do have quite a rough start in life. They have about a 1.5 meter or 5 foot fall to the ground when they are born. And this does help to kickstart their, give them that first breath of life. That thud helps them take in their first deep breath in the world. And then they can generally stand after about 20 to 30 minutes, a baby giraffe, after it's been born. And this is quite crucial, that they can stand, move, walk and run as quickly as possible. There's lots of predators out there that might be harassing a female giraffe while giving birth. And the last thing you want is your little baby being taken by a predator. Alright folks, why don't we head over to Lentore and see what's happening at one of our other locations. What have we got here? Normally there's lots of birds. So there was a spurfowl or some sort of pheasant bird creature inside this next to the water's edge. But of course I think in a previous life this little bird must have been a criminal of some sort, because as soon as it heard live, it took off and did not want to be seen by the camera. I was not planning on being live today. So yeah, I guess we'll have a pan around, see what else is here today. No, there's awesome bird life here at Lentore. Lots of little finches, African firefinch. Oh, our squirrels. Have a lot of little cool squirrels that normally reside at this pan. Check this little guy. Hey little guy. One of the ground squirrels. Oop. He was also not too keen on hanging around for too long. So I've been doing a lot of research on these Africam cameras lately, checking out the Africam Instagram page, which is really fascinating to see all the creatures that are seen at night. Because of course we do see a lot during our live shows of live at the waterhole during the day, but at night some of these locations really do come alive. And I wasn't aware that here at Lentore you can actually sit at this watering hole at night. Some of the guests from the neighboring lodge can come and sit here at night and wait to see if there are any animals coming out. So I've seen some incredible leopard photos and striped hyena pictures here at Lentore. Amazing, incredible night photography that has taken place from this watering hole. And I always suspect that this was a perfect place for caracal. And yes, I did see a caracal on this camera, on some of this previous footage that was saved and logged. What an exciting location. We also sometimes, if we're lucky, there are some hummerkops, that pair of hummerkop that reside in this watering hole. Alright, seeing as we don't have too much activity here, let's head across to Tau and see what other birds are waiting for us there in Madikwe. Ooh, look what we have here. Lovely to see the ostriches again. How awesome. So I did see we had some ostrich activity last week. There were 3 female ostriches and 2 males, if I'm not mistaken, that came through. Yeah, lovely to see ostrich. We don't see them very often. And yeah, it's perfect time of the year. These ostriches are moving around quite a lot. Obviously, in the dry season, all these areas, the banks of this watering hole are completely barren, so there's no food for the ostriches, so that's why we did not see them very much. But now there's lots of seeds, lots of food, and that's why the ostrich are in this area coming to feed. They'll feed on grass seeds and sometimes some grass as well. Tubers also in the dry season provides food for these ostriches, but the primary part of their diet is grass seeds. They do swallow stones from time to time, little rocks. If you see a big solid ball in a giraffe's throat going down, it could be a stone or a rock that it has swallowed in order to try to digest its food better. And lovely to see so many zebra. It is a beautiful scenery here at Tau Game Lodge over in Madikwe. Completely different to a couple of months ago. Look at all this greenery, lovely green grass, these daisy flowers all over the place. Lovely to see the giraffe. The watering hole is also full. A couple of months ago it was very dry, very barren. Just kind of saw, what looked like dead trees and rocks. Now, a lot of people think that these during the dry season a lot of trees are dead. Just because they don't have their leaves does not mean that they are actually dead. So a lot of these trees will drop their leaves in the dry season or in the winter, and they're just in a dormant phase waiting for the rains. And sometimes just before the rains actually arrive, the sap of these trees starts to rise and they start sprouting their new green leaves. Other tree species need to wait for the first rains to actually arrive, but there are a few tree species that might actually start with their green leaves before the rains actually arrive. And these species can be very useful in the wild environment because they do provide food for some of the animals before the actual rains arrive, or like some of the acacia species, your anna trees or your Phaedherbia albidas. The seed pods are very high in protein, very nutritious, and provide food for a lot of animals in the middle of the dry season when there's not much other food around. Oh, we also have some springbok. Cool, I think our elephants are moving over in Aldonio, so why don't we go have a look to see if we can recognize any of those elephant bulls in Aldonio. Oh, we've got some movement, we've got some activity. These big elephant boys are coming down for a drink. Uh-oh. Elephant bull on the left. Looks like he's could have a bit of an injury on his thigh there. Let's have a look. What's happening with this guy? Yeah, the elephant's drinking down at the watering hole. Let's have a listen so you can see he listened to those elephants.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Rennis is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart.
Every guide in Africa has been on an endless quest for the ultimate bush wear. Until now. Rugged Wear has a huge range of amazing bush gear for every wild situation. In the midday heat, those chilly winter mornings, in the storms of summer. Rugged Wear has the bush kit for every wild occasion. Locally made in South Africa, crafted with precision, stitched with quality.
My full name is Maxine Gaines. Best part of the job, gosh, I just love everything about guiding. I love being able to observe animal behavior and animals behaving naturally. So for me, that's by far the best part of the job. And so what we do here at Wild Earth is develop those connections with the people that are viewing and maybe just light a little spark that says, you know what, I want to be involved in protecting this ecosystem.
Join the Wild Earth Explorers program and connect with a community passionate about wildlife. Support our mission to share authentic wildlife experiences with the world. Your monthly contribution helps provide schools and children access to kids safaris, fostering a love for nature in the next generation. Embrace the wonders of the bush and make a difference today. Wild Earth, connecting with nature. Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
I had a question from Hans. So Hans is asking why elephants get so many tears in their ears. So Hans, just like with this poor big elephant bull, has got an old injury on his thigh. These elephants, a lifespan of a big elephant bull is between 50 to 60 years of age. So they have roamed through a lot of bush. A lot of this bush can also cause damage. If they're running through very thick areas, acacia branches can rip through their ears and tear the ears quite easily. They're on this planet for such a long time, these elephants, so they sure have many stories or tales to tell. While fighting, also I've seen elephants with broken cartilage on their ears, and that can be caused from fighting as well. It's so lovely to listen to these guinea fowl. looks like we've got another visitor, another elephant bull coming to join the party here. Let's see what's going to happen. Is there going to be a bit of a scrap here? Is this bull going to be accepted? Or are they going to have a bit of a fight? These three big elephant bulls. Sometimes have be quite nasty fights over watering holes, especially when it's a very small watering hole like this. This helmeted guinea fowl sure is announcing his presence. It's just so lovely just to listen to him. So Dave from Zimbabwe, thank you for watching, Dave, another Zimbabwean on the show. I'm also from Zimbabwe as well, Dave. So thanks for watching today. So Dave, yes, a lot of reserves in South Africa, just like in Zimbabwe, do use solar-powered pumps in order to pump their pans. I know some reserves, even that are quite outdated, might even have generators, backup generators if need be. Oop, who do we have here? Check out another big elephant bull. They seem to be getting bigger and bigger. Check out this guy. He's got quite impressive tusks. No sign of our famous 1-ton elephant bull yet though, but maybe if we're lucky he'll still pop in. But it's just such a lovely sound to hear these helmeted guinea fowl. It always reminds you of being out in the bush, just listening to the very natural bush noises and sounds of nature. This guinea fowl. Oop, hello big boy. So Hans is also asking if the bird's alarm calling could be because the lions are close by. Oop. So Hans, I'm not too sure. I would definitely trust a crested guinea fowl alarm call over a helmeted guinea fowl. A crested Franklin alarm call, sorry, over a helmeted guinea fowl call. Helmeted guinea fowl seem to be quite, for me, not so predictable in announcing the presence of a predator close by. They do normally make this sound. It can be a territorial vocalization that they're just trying to announce their presence in an area. They can also use it to locate individuals if they've lost someone within the flock, or normally they vocalize like this early hours of the morning or late hours of the evening. But yeah, I would definitely trust a crested Franklin call to alarm or alert you to a predator like a leopard or a lion, rather than a helmeted guinea fowl. I wouldn't say that they are too predictable in announcing a predator's presence. Oh, check at these guys. Lovely elephant bulls all coming down. See, they're probably all grumbling and communicating to us in a lot of infrasonic sounds and communications that are not audible to our ears. That's how they have a very peaceful and calm little bit of a drinking session all together here without fighting with one another. They could also know each other as well. That does help too. If they know each other, they know that they're not a threat to one another. So dark mane lover, yes, I agree with you. These elephants are so majestic. It's nice to see them calm and relaxed. Just makes you want to go into like a bit of a deep yoga mountain pose. Just watch these elephants very calmly drinking and feeding with one another, promoting peace and not violence. Because sometimes these elephant bulls, if they're very stressed, could be or very much in must, then they can be quite aggressive with one another when they come down to these watering holes. They're giving each other a little bit of a sniff, bit of a smell. And this is their way of communicating with each other. Not just infrasound, but they smell one another and they can remember these smells of different individuals. And yeah, obviously elephants have an incredible memory, so they can remember, oh, hey, how are you, Phil? Yeah, I remember we saw you 3-4 years ago or 20 years ago. How are you doing? Great, great. So they can remember different individuals as well. So we had a question from Lolly. So Lolly is asking, are elephants the only animals that communicate through infrasound? So no, Lolly, elephants are not the only animals that communicate through infrasound. We were just talking about giraffe just now and how giraffe use infrasound as well in order to communicate with one another. So infrasound is very low frequency communication, below 20 hertz, and it can travel very long distance through various medias, which can be very useful in communicating for long distances. So sometimes these elephants already know any other elephants that might be in the area, that might be approaching. So other species that use infrasound to communicate besides elephant, giraffe, are also whales, rhinoceroses, and lots of little aquatic creatures. There's an incredible documentary I would definitely recommend watching on, I can't remember if it is Disney Plus or Netflix, and it is called The Secret of Sound. I think it's by David Attenborough. I'll just have a quick look up on that one, and it's an incredible documentary that you definitely need to watch. Lots of research has been done into finding the different methods of communication and different infrasonic communications being used in lots of creatures.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website. Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
enjoying watching this elephant bull here. Shame, it seems like his friends have left him a bit. So Gina Biddle, we were talking about earlier the Wild Earth travel. So some of the Wild Earth travel adventures that are still available. So obviously some of these spots on these trips do fill very quickly, but there's a track and trails trip with Amy Kranz and Renius Mplongo, which is 4 days, 3 nights. It is a track and trails immersion experience, and it's an incredible adventure that you can join in. So it is apparently, instrumental in habituating the leopards of the Sabi Sands. So that is one adventure that is available. Another trip is a photographic safari with Danielle Carsons. That is in Mashatu Private Game Reserve. Incredible opportunity to get some amazing pictures in the Limpopo province. Lots of adventures available. So please don't forget to check out the Wild Earth Travel website for any travel advice or travel adventures that you would like to join. We're just watching this elephant bull here, and he doesn't seem too fazed that the other elephants have left. So his elephant bulls will mostly be solitary. Sometimes they join other bachelor groups or might hang out with a few other individuals, just as we spoke about the giraffe and how giraffe are very gregarious and nomadic. They roam around and join one group from time to time, but this bull, he's obviously not fazed by being on his own. Seems to be very relaxed here, just hanging out by himself, not worried at all. Oop. And we have some warthogs. Looks like they're coming in for a mud wallow. It's some great activity of warthogs mud wallowing here in Old Donyo last week. It's always entertaining to watch, always brings a bit of a chuckle and a smile to your face. So a female warthog with her little one here also that has very interesting long whiskers and very curly little tusks. So she's quite an interesting individual that you can identify whenever we see her. But maybe if we're lucky, these warthogs will have a bit of a wallow. So Deb Davis is asking about the water here at some of our watering holes. So Deb Davis, this watering hole is pumped, so there is a borehole that provides water to this watering hole in order to attract the animals, and also in some of these areas there might not be too many watering holes in the dry season, so they're pretty useful in the dry season, not just for elephants, but as you can see, the warthogs, birds, and all kind of creatures, any predators in the area do find these watering holes very useful, so they don't have to move too far to find water in the dry season. These warthogs are very thirsty. Maybe they had a busy morning feeding away in the grass, roots, shoots and tubers. Now they are coming to have a good drink. Wow, they're very thirsty. So we had some questions last week about why we don't see so many breeding herds of elephants at Old Donyo, and some of the kind of information we found out is that not just is the terrain and the habitat not ideal for the breeding herds to come around to this part of the mountain. You've got the Chulu Hills mountain range, which kind of separates this area from the more prime breeding spots. Oh, have a look here. We have a male, a young male eland. It's also come for a bit of a drink. So that could be one of the factors, that they have to walk through the mountains. Of course, the watering holes are small watering holes, so not really suitable for breeding herds to come through. But there are some breeding herds that are seen at this particular pan from time to time, but it's mostly the big elephant bulls that are seen at this watering hole. So this is a male eland, eland bull, among the largest antelope native to Africa, known for their very impressive size, their striking horns, and very distinctive behavior. So they do have quite a few interesting facts about these eland, besides the fact that they're incredible jumpers. They're known for jumping quite a few meters high. The bulls can become very robust. Typical weight of a big eland bull like this can be anything between 600 kilograms to 1,000 kilograms, which is around 2,000 to 2,200 pounds. It's incredible weight for such a big antelope. So Moira, no Moira, not all antelope look alike. You do get a variety, lots of different shapes and sizes of antelope in Africa. Lots of different colors. Some antelope only males have horns, some antelope females and males have horns, so to get a very wide variety of different antelope species in Africa. Get everything from your giant antelope to your buffalo. You also get your tiny little duiker species, or bushbuck. So quite a lot of different species. Kudus with spiraled horns. Some antelope only have straight horns. You get your wildebeest with very unusual horns that kind of curve downwards and up. So lots of different varieties of antelope in Africa. Apparently there's about 60 to 70 different antelope species in Africa. There are variations that due to different regions, so weather, population and food. So these can be the factors that can affect different antelope species within different regions. And if they're in savannas or woodlands, that will kind of depend on what type of antelope you get occurring in those regions. So this bull, I've seen a bigger eland bulls than this, but I'd say he's not a bad specimen for a male eland. I'd say he still has 3 to 4 years to grow in order for him to become really massive and impressive, but he's still not still a decent size. We've got some impala that have also joined us. So Dave from Zimbabwe is asking, none of the locations seem to have sable and roan antelope. So Dave, we have recently got a camera up in Wangi National Park at Safari Lodge, and that would probably be your best bet for a location to see sable and roan. Although they're not seen very often in front of Safari Lodge there. I know the area quite well, but that would probably be your best location to find those two antelope, and it's because these two antelope are very much susceptible to habitat loss. That's why we don't see them so much at our locations. Oh, what's happened? Where have our warthogs gone to? I saw some impala running around. So also to answer your question there, Dave, roan and sable, because of not just because of habitat loss, but when there's not enough grass, they really struggle to hide their little ones, and that makes it easier for predators to eat their young while they're stashed in some bushes. So unfortunately they are very much susceptible to habitat loss, those two species. So your best bet would be in Wangi, Zimbabwe. Got lots of little flying creatures coming down to the watering hole. As I mentioned earlier, in our live locations we've been having great sightings of little damselflies and dragonflies. So it's perfect time of year. A lot of the larvae and pupa and little nymphs are active. A lot of life cycles begin in the rainy season, and makes it very active time for dragonflies and butterflies, or your little creepy crawly creatures. This elephant is still standing here, not too fussed, not too phased at all. I wonder what birds we have up in the trees on the left there. Could be some wattled starlings, could be some superb starlings. This elephant bull, he doesn't seem like he's in too much of a rush to get anywhere. He's very relaxed here. So elephants are a keystone species here in Kenya. Yeah, they do have quite a large impact on the environment. So the movement of these elephants foraging through this land does help to maintain the ecosystem's balance. Okay, oh no, looks like we've got some laughing doves here. Maybe a little namakwa dove down on the left. Smaller dove species. We're looking for the superb starlings. I thought I saw some superb starlings flying around earlier. It'd be lovely to see those superb starlings. And maybe a wattled starling in breeding plumage. Oh, there we go. It's got a little namakwa dove. Be lovely to see some more bird life. Come on, birdies. What's happening?
Seven nights on safari during the magnificent green season. The rains have stopped, the land is emerald, and there are wild babies everywhere. Meet your favorite presenters.
This is amazing.
And create unforgettable memories on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure.
Thank you for coming along on this little adventure.
The Green Season Grand Tour, only with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature.
Ayuna nchumo, ayuna maka. Emavokweni ya mbilu, ayuna maka. Lifasila mina ritapela, zatsemba, utatsamana mina.
Step away from your daily stress and escape into nature with Wild Earth. Immerse yourself in the wilderness and become part of the natural landscape. Watch as everything comes alive. Join us as we slow down our thoughts, put aside our distractions, and reconnect with the wild. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
It's a very thick cushion-like pad composed of a fatty tissue and fibrous material. And these pads act as a natural shock absorber and distributing the tremendous pressure of each step, but yet allows them to walk in complete silence. Isn't that incredible? And of course, this pad is where they also receive a lot of their infrasonic sounds and communications. Isn't it amazing? Bone structure of these elephants are also incredible. So their structure helps to bear and evenly distribute their weight. They have solid bones as opposed to having hollow bones, and this allows them to be able to carry this massive weight of theirs in those legs. So we had an elephant bull the other day that was having a good old swim in the pan at Elephant Pan, and shucks, he was really enjoying getting off of his feet. I'm not surprised if you have to carry all that weight around with you. He's just enjoying having this watering hole all to himself, not having to share with anyone. feet of these elephants is an incredible example of how evolution has finely tuned anatomical features in order to meet the demands of size and weight in an environment, a challenging environment. So the specialized design not only supports this enormous weight of these elephants, but it also contributes to their ability to travel long distances. Unlike these little helmeted guinea fowl, they have very small little feet. They don't have much weight to carry around, and do love the different spotty dotty colors of these helmeted guinea fowl, the very fluorescent blue colors on their necks, and of course their very prominent helmet on the top of their head. Oh, quite a big flock of guinea fowl all of a sudden. Look at these guinea fowl. It's no wonder they're one of the most favorite birds in Africa. I see a lot of paintings and souvenirs replicate the guinea fowl. So you get your crested guinea fowl, found in places in KZN, forested coastal regions, and you also get the plumed guinea fowl. So I have seen the plumed guinea fowl also, which is seen in West Africa, a very special guinea fowl to see. And I've also actually seen the black guinea fowls, also another very rare guinea fowl species seen in the jungles of West Africa. It looks very unusual. It's like a combination of a guinea fowl turkey. So very black but has a red neck, but skulks around on the forest floor. So very unique guinea fowl species to West Africa. Alrighty, while we're on a bit of a birding mission, why don't we head across to Stony Point and see what birds we can find in the Cape Town. So welcome to, looks like a very misty, cold morning here in Stony Point, Cape Town. We have a sacred ibis that is probing around in the kelp. So this is dead and decaying kelp vegetation where this little ibis is trying to feed in. We got a question from Spas Carvers asking if we get namakwa doves at Aldonyo. Yes, Spas, I have seen namakwa doves in Aldonyo on a few occasions. There was a little female namakwa dove up in one of the trees there. Let's have a look what this sacred ibis is eating. So he's got that specially designed long, thin, probing bill, which most ibis species have, which is very good for digging and probing into mud, into holes, into thick vegetation. So these ibises are omnivores. They have quite a varied diet, and they have adapted to feeding in wetlands and marshes. So they will feed on small aquatic prey like little fish and frogs, crustaceans, mollusks, insects, worms, small rodents and reptiles, and they use that probing beak of theirs in order to feed. So it's a curved bill which is perfect for probing into the mud, shallow water, and other thick vegetation. Check out this little guy go. I do love sacred ibis. There's a very nice contrast of black and white. Quite adapted in the way that they design and thrive, especially near human civilization as well. So I know they love to be on school grounds, on school fields. Perfect place for them to dig around for any little grubs and creatures in the ground. They are also opportunistic feeders as well, so it does allow them to exploit quite a wide range of food resources to ensure their survival. Check out this little guy goes. They're very busy little creatures, busy birds. They move around, spend a lot of their day feeding. I do much prefer the sacred ibis to the hardy-dar ibis. They do make less noise.
We love all creatures in the African bush, from the biggest to the smallest, including the tiny little insects and arthropods. But some of them are not as charming as we'd like them to be. So that's why I trust peaceful sleep. And it lasts up to 8 hours too, so I can stay out longer, both at day and night, and not feel like I'm somebody's snack.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
Would you like to know what an elephant's favorite food is? You could ask me questions like that in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive from the heart of Africa. Over here. Watch Safari Live and connect with nature.
Here, if you are having a bit of a stressful Monday, this is a perfect time to just take a few deep breaths in and out. Let all your problems away from the day so far. Forget about the fact that it's a Monday and just listen to the sound of the ocean here. Oh, we've got some little hyraxes here, little rock dussies also joining us for our morning meditation. Oh, those ocean waves were quite loud. It's talking a lot about meditation and yoga, how important it is to have a peaceful state of mind, spirit and soul. I think these little rock dassies are very good advocates for the yoga world because they spend majority of their day just sunning themselves on the rocks, just taking in the world around them, should we say. They are one of the largest rodents in Africa. They just kind of lots of blubber, lots of fat on their bodies of theirs, which one is very good for insulating their body temperature. especially in places like Cape Town where it's rather cold, but also they're very much, that does come with a slight disadvantage that they are very much sought after for their meat because of this high fat content. But they do live in colonies in the rocks here. Last year we had a couple of little baby hyraxes that we were watching, so a female can have anything between 2 to 4 pups at one time, and it does allow her to reproduce. Alrighty folks, why don't we head across to Tembe and see what's happening in Tembe today. So welcome to Tembe Elephant Park, everyone, in Maputo land, South Africa. Wow, incredible to see a breeding herd of elephants down at this watering hole. We don't often see breeding herds, often big elephant bulls that come down to Tembe. Obviously, Tembe Elephant Park is famously known for the massive elephant tusker bulls that they have here, but it's not very often we see elephant cows with sub-adults, so very special sighting here today. We'll also keep a lookout for our juvenile fish eagle. There was a juvenile fish eagle that last week we saw him with a kill. He looked like he'd killed a small barbel or catfish, and he was, he's still a youngster, still a very adolescent fish eagle, so he was struggling to fly off with his little meal and then struggling to eat his meal on the branch. So he was really struggling with his balance and just learning how to be self-sufficient as a young fish eagle. Let's just have a quiet moment to watch and listen to these elephants slurping up this water, having a good drink. Wow, it is really busy today here in Tembe. So it looks like it could be one breeding herd and a couple of solitary bulls that are all pulling in here. So David from Zimbabwe, David was asking about sable and roan antelope. So might not get sable and roan here in Tembe, but another nice antelope species we do get in Tembe, which is always lovely to see, is and also inhabits very thick woodland areas, is our nyala. So we do often see nyala here at Tembe Elephant Park. Nice size breeding herds, and your solitary bulls and young bulls as well. So very healthy population of nyala here. We do get the big five in this area. We've seen the lions here before. So yeah, lovely location here in Tembe. Also incredible for birding if you are a big birding fan. This acacia tree on the left hand side is also a perfect spot where normally we had a little striped kingfisher that hunts from this little perch, and if we're lucky there are two little bee eaters that also fly around and like to come back to the same little perching spot. It's quite a common characteristic of some birds, especially bee eaters. They will often come back to the same perching spots. If you're a photographer and you need to get that photo of a bee eater, just keep watching a specific piece of grass or the little perching spots they come to, because they'll often come back to the exact same spot quite regularly while feeding. Still got an elephant bull that's hiding behind the bushes here. And 2 young little impala. Oh, these little impala are so precious, aren't they? It's actually the location I saw my first baby impala for the season. I think it was in early December or mid-December. A very special sighting of a little baby impala. It's our first baby impala for the live at the waterhole as well. I think we've got a few elephant bulls here with collars on as well, so a lot of elephant monitoring is going on in this area, which is always a good sign. It just gives some incredible data and gives you a very rough idea of how far and the distance that these elephants cover from day to day. It's absolutely incredible. You can barely fathom the amount of distance that these elephants walk. So see, there's an elephant bull here on the left that has his collar on. Some of these collars, depending on the technology inside, can last anything between 6 months to, I think some of the new collars can last up to a few years, depending on the amount of frequencies that send off an emission. So if you make the frequency of the collar send off a less signals within a day, so if you set it to once a day your uplink will be received, then those collars tend to be able to last more often, whereas if you request the device to uplink more often, then often those collars will not last as long. So collars are used to track not just elephants but lots of other species. Obviously the special species, big 5, very useful with the rhinos to keep an eye on them, lions, leopards, cheetah, wild dog, all these special species, very useful to have these collars to keep an eye and track and monitor these individuals and learn more about the species. Spencer's asking if there are any notable tusker elephants at Tembe that I know of. Not necessarily, Spencer. I know there is one big elephant bull, but I wouldn't say he's a tusker that comes to this watering hole, that he has a broken cartilage on the one side of his ear, but he doesn't have the most impressive tusks. But yeah, definitely lots of big elephant tusker bulls here. Isn't, yeah, I don't know if this is our broken cartilage elephant I was talking about, which has got the floppy ear. But yeah, there are a lot of elephant tuskers here, so it's not necessarily easy to identify one individual from the next. I'm sure within the reserve there are some very unique individuals, but for me, I've just, besides the elephant bull with the broken cartilage, and a few other bulls that have their tusks crisscrossing in the front, I don't know of any that have names. But if anyone else has been watching this camera here or has been to Tembe and you know of any specially identified elephant bulls that have incredible tusks, please feel free to share the names with me. I'd love to know if there are any particularly iconic individuals here in Tembe. I'll have a bit of a Google as well when I get a chance. Oh, got a nyala, female nyala, and another breeding herd coming down for a drink. It was getting a little bit quiet for a moment. Now we've got all these elephants coming down again. Lovely to see these breeding herds here. It's not a sight we get every day. It's lovely to see lots of elephants here. Normally it's just this area is littered with elephant bulls. Trying to look here. I thought we saw our broken a floppy-eared elephant here, so I'm just trying to keep a lookout for him. Maybe he's around. So we had a question from Jala, who's asking about how come animals only migrate in Kenya and now and not all throughout Africa. So Jala, there are many areas in Africa where animals are still freely allowed to roam and migrate. For example, Kenya, Tanzania, even to Botswana, you get a lot of those migratory murmurations of mammals like your zebra and your wildebeest, and elephants can still roam throughout Zimbabwe, Botswana, Zambia, in West Africa. Forest elephants can still roam between the two Congos, or Brazzaville, Congo, Gabon, Central Africa, and Cameroon. So a lot of these elephants in a lot of regions can still move freely, but obviously because of human developments, towns and cities, railroads, main roads, your highways, that has in some areas interfered with the normal migration routes of animals. Unfortunately, in southern Africa and other parts of Africa, there are a lot of more private reserves, which are places which have now become privately protected, where animals maybe are not able to migrate as much as they used to, but there are still a lot of wild and free areas which animals can migrate, and there's a lot of companies trying to create these corridors. They call them the natural corridors or elephant corridors, so places where elephants can move under highways, move around towns and cities, so to allow animals to move freely once again. Because as with everything in this, our planet, space is always an issue. So if you think about it, every 10 years the elephant population doubles, and that's more space that these elephants need to live. But so does the human population also double every couple of years too. So yeah, we're constantly battling and competing for space with wild animals, and these wild places where wild animals used to roam now are not always all available to them. They end up getting stuck up in communities and crop raiding and get themselves into all kinds of trouble. So that's why it's so important to support these organizations that are creating wild spaces for wild faces and helping to protect all the wild animals that live there. So very important organizations, important to support these organizations that are creating these wild spaces for all of our wild faces. So GM is asking a question about, are the old Donyo elephants a separate breed? They seem to have much bigger tusks. So GM, it's quite interesting when we flick from one location to the next, you'll see how the elephants of Donyo, you got one ton that has massive long tusks. The elephant bulls have quite thick and long tusks. If you come here to Tembe, the elephant bulls have very long, thin tusks. And then, of course, you get over in Namibia, a lot of the elephants there have very short and stubby tusks. It all depends on the genes and the genetics of those individuals. So again, nowadays, you're getting a lot of these big tuskers that are being poached, or their bloodlines have ended, and those genes are no longer available to pass on. So that can be a contributing factor to why we don't see so many big elephant bulls anymore. And number two is the minerals. So in Namibia, it's a very hot environment. There's not a lot of minerals available in the soil. So that can be why those elephants in Namibia, their tusks are very short and stubby, because it's very hot, so their tusks crack easily. And obviously they're very soft and brittle because they don't get much minerals in their food. Whereas here in Tembe, have a look at all these little excavations, these little areas that have all been dug up. The soil's been disturbed. You can see elephants have been in here. They're feeding on that mineral-rich soil, and I think that also does play a huge part in the fact of these elephant tuskers having such long tusks. Not only is it in their genes and their DNA to have long tusks, but they also have the advantage of this incredible mineral-rich soil that is at their disposal everywhere. So these impala are just feeding on the grass, but they'll also take an advantage of feeding on those mineral-rich soils. Talking about elephants, why don't we head across to Elephant Pan and see if we can find another elephant pool party.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart. Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a serviceman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve.
Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do? Because we have another giant of Mabula. That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
We are thrilled to announce our new exclusive feature for YouTube members and explorers. Join us live every Tuesday for our sunrise and sunset safaris. Experience Tawny Tuesday like never before with up-close encounters and breathtaking moments. Don't miss out. Become a YouTube member or explorer today and immerse yourself in the heart of the bush. See you Tuesday.
So Dark Mane Lover is asking about why the big elephant tuskers are not being protected to make sure that they're not poached. So Dark Mane Lover, there is a lot of anti-poaching units and organizations that do their best to try to protect these big elephant bulls. Like 1 ton and all these massive tuskers. But as far as I understand, in places like Kenya and a lot of reserves throughout Africa, is even in Wangi National Park, it's the same. You have hunting areas that do border some of these very famous national parks. And as we mentioned earlier, is that a lot of these parks maybe don't have fences. I mean, imagine Wangi National Park is one of the largest national parks in southern Africa. It's the same size as Berlin or New Jersey, so it is massive. There's no way you could put a fence around that national park. So the elephants can move freely around. And in some cases, like in Kenya, I know the last 2 big elephant tuskers that were shot, they moved into hunting areas. And that's unfortunately sometimes when they find they find the end of their lives. But I know a lot of work is being done to protect these elephant tuskers. So yeah, great to know that there's a lot of conservation organizations and anti-poaching units out there that are doing a lot of really hard work to protect these tuskers. So yeah, I got another question from Dark Mane Lover here about all those tuskers in the world, and yeah, I hope I answered your question, that there is a lot of conservation efforts, a lot of organizations that are trying their very best to protect these incredible tuskers that still roam the earth, so that we can have their genes still spreading from one generation to the next. But yeah, it's not a surprise in some areas when you do see a lot of tuskless elephant cows or a lot of elephant bulls with small tusks, because elephants can be very sensitive to environmental stress. And in some cases, I know in South Africa, obviously your GnRH vaccines, which is a hormone suppressor that the male elephants that is administered to the male elephants to suppress their hormones and prevent them from being bred with, so prevent them from breeding with the females. A lot of the females are also given hormone suppressors, or the males are vasectomized. A lot of these things can end up causing stress to elephants, and in some cases it's been proven that the elephant cows become so stressed that they suspect that their species might be in danger, and a lot of these cows end up breeding with younger bulls that are not necessarily having great genes and not the most suitable partner. But yeah, so they can actually increase their reproduction rate if they feel stressed. So yeah, elephants can be very sensitive in situations like this. So a lot of research is still being done about all these vaccines and hormone suppressors and vasectomizations. That still needs to be researched and studied quite a lot. Obviously this elephant, he does not look stressed or worried at all. This area around Elephant Pan is a massive greater area. I mean, to get to this lodge from Maun is, I won't say in kilometers, because in the bush sometimes kilometers means nothing, but it's about a 7 to 9 hour trip to get from Maun by game viewer to Elephant Pan. And in that period there's very few fences that you actually pass besides when you're leaving the actual city itself. It's all natural areas where these elephants can roam. So these Botswanan elephants, they have a very good life. These elephants have a lot of space to roam in. They can even roam across to Zambia if they please. So yeah, it's not an issue in Botswana and with space for elephants, but definitely in South Africa, a lot of these private reserves can get issues with their elephants and overpopulation and all these modifications for breeding. So check at this elephant. He's giving himself a good scratch. Oh, this is such a lovely setting. I just trying to think of the smell of those mopani trees. This elephant churning up the water. Fresh smell of a pan out in the bush, just incredible. You can hear those starlings, probably Cape glossy starlings, calling in the trees close by. If any of our viewers want to go to Botswana or looking to go do any adventures in Africa, Botswana is normally a top location, top country on the list, and I would definitely recommend Elephant Pan. It is a very special destination. I really enjoyed my time there. Cannot wait for my next safari to Elephant Pan. They have an elephant hide that is pretty close to the lodge that you can go and sit and literally at eye level watch the elephants drinking and feeding right in front of you. You even sometimes get splashed by the water from the elephants' trunks. If you're unlucky, maybe get a little bit of elephant saliva on your face. But yeah, that's literally how close you are to these elephants. It's a sunken-in container hide in the ground, very similar to some of the container hides in Zimbabwe. I think it was actually designed by a Zimbabwean, and it's absolutely incredible. You sit in this hide and you're at eye level watching the elephants come and feed and drink at the watering hole. Oh, looks like a little baby elephant coming down, breeding herd coming down for a midday drink. And in all the stories that these trees around this pan could tell, You can see there's been a lot of elephant activity on these mopani trees. They've been used for many, many years as rubbing posts. So after the elephants have had a good old swim, they'll go and rub themselves on these mopani trees. This female elephant is quite brave. She's going into the water with her little one. A bit of a grunt or grumble from, could have been a little elephant calf. This elephant bull is also just having a nice chilled afternoon in the shade of these mopani trees. I'm not too sure what he was trying to shake out of this mopani tree, because the mopani leaves are very well attached to the tree. They don't come down very easily. What is he up to? Maybe he's just giving himself a nice face scratch on the soft bark of this mopani tree, feeding on some of those leaves. The mopani leaves.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Do you want to know why impala are the most common antelope we find here in the Kruger National Park? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live. Connect with nature.
To any elephants on your way to the main area. Oh, look at this little elephant having such a great time. Imagine a very hot day in Botswana. Nothing better than coming and cooling off in this pan. Looks like quite a pregnant elephant cow on the right hand side there. She looks like she's walking with a bit of a waddle and has quite a bulging belly. The gestation period of elephants is about 22 to 24 months. Recent studies do show that elephant cows might have a slightly longer gestation period if they're giving birth to a male as opposed to a female calf. So if it's a female calf that they're about to give birth to, it could be about 21 to 22 months. And if their calf is a male, it could be 23 to 24 month gestation period. So quite interesting, all this new information that we're learning about elephants. There's so much to learn about the natural environment. We're constantly learning every day new things about new creatures. every single day. There's never a day that you stop learning when you're out in the bush. Just so much information, so much to learn about every single little creature. These mopani trees that are under the water here now are normally completely dry here. So you can see how this pan is flooded and the rims are just off to the right hand side. You might even see some of the rims just in the distance there. Beautiful greenery, lovely mopanis. The mopani leaves almost look like little butterflies. I do love them all throughout the year. Of course, they're bright green when they first erupt from their branches. Bright green, and then they stay this green most of the year. Then they do turn to like a yellow brownish color before they fall off. And yeah, as we mentioned, the elephants love to feed on the fibers inside the bark, and that fiber is also very good for making rope. So makes a very strong rope. And in some African countries like Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Zambia, they use the fibers or inner cambium layer of these mopani trees to make fishing nets. Alrighty folks, while our elephants are heading off, why don't we head back to Old Donyo and see what's happening over in Kenya. We still have another one giraffe left here at Old Donyo. Of course, our little helmeted guinea fowl, hoping for a last-minute spectacular sighting in our last few minutes of live at the waterhole. Would be cool. Again, as I mentioned, I'd love to see our secretary birds. I'd love to see that lioness with her little cubs. That would be cool if she could pitch up. I have been monitoring the Africam Instagram page, hoping to see if that lion pitches up at night, but so far I haven't seen anything yet. There's some jackal do frequent this pan quite often. It'd be really cool to see some jackal coming in, the black-backed jackal. This female giraffe is enjoying a bit of a drink in peace. No other giraffe to compete with. Oh, there's still some giraffe left. I can't believe how many giraffe we've had here in Old Donyo. So many giraffe. It's crazy. Now, there was a pretty cool sighting the other night here at Old Donyo. I think it was 3 days ago. There was elephant bull that was in musk, and he was being quite aggressive with a poor impala. So it's an impala ram or male impala just standing at the watering hole, and this elephant bull was like sneaking up on him from behind, and I don't know what he was doing. It was he actually like kicked the giraffe, the little impala. Male impala was quite brave by hanging around, but yeah, you could see this elephant bull was really in a thick state of musk. He had a lot of liquid seeping from his temporal glands, and yeah, he gave the giraffe a little bit of a kick on the thigh there. So shame. I hope the giraffe impala wasn't too injured. But yeah, it's a shame. This seems to still be the female that's in season, and she's been really harassed by all these other male giraffe in the area. Serval. This is also a great place for serval. There's a resident serval here at Old Donyo that also comes by to the watering hole. It would be awesome to see a serval. Just something popping out last minute. Last couple of minutes. Also leopard. Been a couple of leopard sightings beginning of this month. A young female leopard that seems to come quite late to visit this pan. We think there's only herbivores and antelope that come to these watering holes, but we forget about all those nocturnal species that come down during the night. It can be even busier at night than during the day at these watering holes. Come on, boy. Bend down and have a bit of a drink for us. It's a young giraffe bull. You can see his ossicones are still quite, still need to grow quite a bit, so he's still a youngster. A little bit skeptical about the mud and the water. I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't want to fall face forward into this muddy watering hole. It would be very difficult for the giraffe to get up if he did fall down in this mud. They do need to be very careful. He's lucky he doesn't have any oxpeckers. Toldania, there seems to be a very healthy population in Kenya of oxpeckers, especially around this watering hole. A lot of the giraffe, when they're bending down, they get inundated with oxpeckers in their ears and in their eyes, and trying to remove some parasites, any of the ticks. But shame, it really does harass the poor giraffe when they're bending down to have a drink. So as we mentioned earlier, giraffe are not necessarily a water-dependent species. However, they can consume up to 10 liters or around 2 to 2.2 gallons at one time. And they will frequent watering holes every other day, or if possible every day. But they can go for several days without having to drink anything. Have this very efficient water retention system, giraffe. Gives them this incredible ability to extract more moisture from their food, so they're not too dependent on water. Hey, guinea fowl. Lovely to see the guinea fowl back. It's been a lovely day here at the waterhole. Looks like they've got some nice weather in Kenya. I hope that we don't have too much more rainfall in Johannesburg. It's been quite gloomy, cold, rainy weather. So yeah, wishing the naturalists all the best of luck this afternoon on their drives, hoping that they have some incredible luck with predators and any other special little creepy crawly creatures, maybe some lions over in Mabula. So Harry, thank you for joining us this afternoon, and to all of our other viewers that have sent through your questions and comments, just want to say a big thank you to everyone for joining this afternoon. I'll be heading off on my next safari soon, so I won't be seeing you live at the waterhole for a bit, but don't forget to tune in to our sunset safari coming up this afternoon. From me and the rest of the Wild Earth team, just want to wish you a happy Monday, all the best for a new week, new beginnings, and hope to see you soon sometime. Have a lovely afternoon, folks. Cheers.